I'm Michael Reese.
And I'm Woods Davis.
And this is the Digital President Podcast.
We've cracked the code for generating customers online for every business model.
In fact, we wrote the book on it.
We've built multiple multi-million-dollar businesses in as little as 90 days. And the one truth that we discovered is
the best business model is doing what you love and living your life by strategy.
You truly can follow your passion and create the life of your dreams,
as long as you have the right strategy.
If you're a real estate agent and you'd like to learn how you can partner with us to help you implement our strategies and systems in your business so you can make a lot more money and have a lot more time freedom, all without ever paying us a penny or giving up a percentage of your commission, go to partnershipdetails.com and schedule a call with us today. While it's fresh in your mind, go to partnershipdetails.com. Now on to the podcast.
Welcome to episode number 29 of the Digital President Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about one of the most important things that you need to consider if you're looking to get started online leveraging videos, specifically YouTube. We're going to talk about the best videos that you can create for your channel. And today, my name is Michael Reese, and I'm with your co-host, Mr.
Woods Davis.
How you doing, Woods?
I'm doing great, man. Excited to talk about these videos, help some people get started.
Absolutely. Well, the main thing about video, guys, listen, if you're not leveraging video in your plan right now, you definitely should consider it. You know, I say video is worth 1,000 words. In fact, I saw an expert, and I wrote this down this morning on my workout. I was listening to an audiobook around content, and just coincidentally, they were talking about YouTube video. And they said YouTube videos are actually worth 1.1 million words. 1 minute of YouTube is worth 1.1 million words. And I thought about that for a second, and I said, I don't know if I agree to that, because I can say a lot. But at the end of the day, we all know that so many people start books and never finish them. And it's way more likely that you're going to get the message across. And when you combine the visibility and the consumption, I can see how video can be extremely persuasive. And so let's talk about, specifically why people don't start with video. What makes people nervous? And I think that's a good discussion to kick this thing off.
Well, it seems to me like a lot of people are really just confused on, number one, the platform, right? Number one, where am I going to record? I think they know that they want to shoot videos, but they're maybe confused about, man, should I shoot videos, go live on Facebook? Do I shoot videos, put them on TikTok? Do I go on Instagram? Do I go on YouTube? And then there's kind of the bottleneck of getting an actual channel built up, or having your branding right around the platform. And I think one of the things to consider, I think you definitely need to consider the brand and things like that. I was just having a discussion with an agent the other day, and that was one of his bottlenecks. He was confused about what he should name his YouTube channel. He was confused as if he needed to have the same Instagram that matched the YouTube channel name. And, so I think you definitely need to have some consideration about that. But I think the channel, especially if you're going to do YouTube, which I think is probably the most valuable place to start with video, I think the channel can be independent of your personal brand. I think it goes together with your personal brand. But I think that, if you're doing this for real estate, I think you really want to determine what type of channel you want to have. And if you're serving a specific community, or you're serving, a specific niche or something like that, then you might want to brand the channel around that. And so anyways, it seems to me like that could be a potential hang up for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see brand being one of the things, but let's assume someone doesn't have that problem, right? Let's say somebody's very specific, they know their brand, because that's one situation, right? And there's so many agents out there, brand's one of them. What's another thing that you said? Knowing what platform to post on, right? That's another thing. And what you're saying to me is, what people really don't know is what they need to know in order to get started. And right. For me, I think that for somebody to get started who doesn't have those bottlenecks, let's say, I know what my business is. I know who my customer is. I already have a brand for my business. And I think I'm right. Now, I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. So I'm not even thinking that that's the case. Why do those people not get started?
Well, I think the answer is definitely that they just don't know what videos to shoot. They don't know what type of videos to shoot. They don't really have a plan.
You don't think any of them are? You don't think any of them are scared of video?
I definitely think people are scared of video.
Okay.
That's definitely for sure. And I think that might be the underlying root of the problem.
Yeah. So I'd agree. So I want to talk in general, real general right now. Let's say that, I'm going to say the one that I've seen that was most discouraging. Okay. This young lady is a boss. She has done so well. I would watch her YouTube channel every single day. But you know what, man? She wants it to be perfect. I mean, literally, she is got this thing in her head that in order for her to begin, and there's nothing, this girl is an action taker. I have much respect for her, but she hasn't produced any videos. And so she wants it to be perfect. She knows what to say. So I would agree with probably number one. Probably the broader problem is going to be knowing what to say. And I think we can address, guys, listen, if you want to know what to say on your videos, then you're going to want to watch this to the end, because we're going to give you exactly what you want. I mean, this is going to be action packed. Me and Woods had a discussion around this. We've helped several people, and that's what we do here. If you want to grow your business and you want to leverage social media and you want to leverage video, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because we're putting out new content like this every single week. Some weeks we'll drop 2 episodes, some weeks 3 episodes, but every week it's new content. And if you turn on notifications, you'll be notified. And we're covering topics like this that are basically there to help you take the step of believing video works to knowing it works. We can help you cover that gap. So when people don't know what to say, people are trying to make it perfect, people don't know what platform it is, all of those things are to be considered. Here would be a solution to that problem, right? A solution for people who don't know what to say. Number one, go look at what other people are saying. I'm not saying to go copy somebody else's channel, but I definitely think that there's nothing wrong in business for doing what we call competitive research, right? I would say that competitive research is going to help you with knowing what to say. It's going to help you get an idea of around brand. It's going to give you awareness, because right now you're probably maybe overthinking it a little. And this is what I want you to do. Go to the person who you look to as the expert in your opinion, and go look at their first video, and make sure that you understand that everybody in 2010, there was only 10 people on earth with over 1 million subscribers, right? Only 10 people on earth. And here's what I want you to say. The mistake that you will make in real estate, and I believe this in my heart and soul, and I've experienced this, is that in your business, you're not going to have 1 million subscribers. If you want to have 1 million subscribers, you might want to go to a bigger audience. If you want to take it and understand the adjustments that you need to make based upon your channel and other people's channels, you need to set realistic goals and know that when you make content, if you have 10 subscribers or 100 subscribers or 300, and I've experienced this, it's not the size of your list. Obviously, that will grow. And that will grow based upon your ability to be consistent over time and to get better. And when I mean better, is better at deciding what different topics that you can layer in. And we'll talk about that. So I just want to point that out, because I do think that people who do start get discouraged. I think people who see their first video, they look at the views and then they think, oh, that wasn't a good video, so that might stop their momentum. Change your game plan. Set a goal around a consistency goal. Make a commitment on how many you're going to produce per week, right? And produce those every single week and get consistent. And most importantly, be thinking about the process that you're going and how to make it more efficient. That's what I would say that you need to have in place in order to start. Obviously, we're going to cover and give you a guide. And I think that's probably a good transition, Woods, into if someone was going to start right now. Let's just say let's go back to your topic, brand. What are the top 3 different types of brands? I know you haven't prepared for this, but I know that you probably have an opinion. If there were 3 different styles of brand that you could consider, what would you say those were?
I'd say probably the number one brand, and probably what's most best practice, most recommended for a real estate agent, is going to be branded around the city. that you are serving. And when I say the city,
okay, let's say the city. And I want you to say what the pros and cons of. So you're saying number one, city. So that would be like, let's say we're living in Puerto Rico, right? So I'm in Puerto Rico. What would the brand be?
yep. So it could be exactly what you just said. It could be living in Puerto Rico. I think Puerto Rico is the type of market too that people would be looking to make a move to. You got to ask yourself what type of what is the customer, like what is your client thinking about, and what would they type into Google or what would they type into YouTube if they were thinking about making a move to your area. So I know for me, you live in Dorado Beach, for example. Now you could do a YouTube channel just around living in Dorado Beach. That might not be wide enough. You might want to go ahead and just do, all of Puerto Rico, which might seem a little bit wider, but it's a smaller island. And I think when people are considering moving to Puerto Rico, I know for me personally, I'm considering all the different areas in Puerto Rico. And so that gives you maybe a little bit of a wider net. However, you can niche down, but usually you're going to want to at least, I think, target a wide enough audience to where you're going to capture what people are searching for. People might not be searching for living in Prosper, what is it like to move to Prosper, Texas, but they might be talking about Dallas.
I don't know that I agree. I don't know that I agree with that. I don't know that I agree with that. They might not be searching living in Prosper. I mean, I think that could be. I think that you're better served based upon really taking the consideration of what market you serve. I don't think that you should change the market in the community that you serve based upon, I think that YouTube should enhance your strategy.
Right.
So I'll give you an example. In my business, there were areas I didn't serve, right? And so in my business, I could put, and I just want to point this out. Ready? What's this say?
Living,
right?
In Frisco, or Frisco Living.
This is the Frisco and Plano edition, right? Of Living magazine, right? This is a magazine from 2008 where I was on the cover of the magazine for my real estate business. And I actually had the back cover, and I used to run Collin County TV. Collin County TV was wrong, right? Because I really believe what I know now, and this is just punctuating what you said, is that being more specific on what your client's wanting to do. But there are people out there that got to realize that when you're choosing the topic, you're choosing the topic based upon the desire of the person. And a framework that you might want to consider is, there are pros and cons. I know people right now that they serve specific cities, maybe multiple cities. And in that situation, they could use their county, right? So living in Collin County, or you can go broader. Again, I think it really needs to be based upon what your goals are for your business. And I think you need to know that right then. You need to look forward and say, okay, if this channel is successful, right? What community am I looking to serve? What community? If you're going to have a bellyache about, first of all, if you have no inspiration of growing a team 3 to 5 years from now, you've done that, never want to do that. It's no aspiration to do that, because I do think, Woods, that if somebody comes out and says living in Dorado versus living in Puerto Rico, that they're going to be the Dorado people are going to capture way more of that market in Dorado than they're going to capture of the whole island in Puerto Rico. Now, again, that might get them listings for people that are actually living here, but people that are under the situation that you're saying that are considering moving here, which was me. I looked at Palmas and other areas, and so they might, with that other channel, capture people who don't know what Dorado is. And so, those are just some of the pros and cons to those types of channels.
Well, I think too, what happens when you build a channel is you're building like a media asset. And you can point the monetization of that channel at different things. So it doesn't necessarily, and again, this goes back to your goal, right? What you were saying about the goal with the channel is that if you get traffic and you're going to get people reach out to you that are outside of your area, and then you still have ways to monetize that, right? You can send those out as referrals. You can still leverage that media.
But here's the problem. And this problem came, Zillow experienced this problem, and it's a real problem. They were selling leads, right? They were just selling leads. Why do you think Zillow implemented agents having a call center? Why do you think Zillow implemented having a call center? Because people who had a bad experience with the agent not calling them, which we all know that agents sometimes don't call their leads, that they realized that hurt the brand of Zillow, and that they had to take over that customer experience in order to continue to get that consumer to come back and work with them. And they couldn't, that custody, that chain of custody, if you will, could not be handed off based upon a people dependent system. They had to take control over that. So if you're going to do that, if you're going to get into the referral business, you got to realize that you can't look at a lead. And I know how agents are, and they're like, oh, okay, well, this is on the other side of the island, Mike. And this happened to me. I had a guy reach out to me and say, hey, Mike, listen, I got somebody that wants to move, and they said some city I didn't know, and I didn't know an agent. I had every intention, but it took me work finding that. It took time. I had to message the person, find them on Workplace. I reached out to 2 people if they knew anybody that sent there. It took 2 days for me to get a response from the first person. While I got a message from the person that was sending the referral that says, hey, they're wanting to know if you don't have anybody, we can find someone. And so, just don't overestimate having that undisciplined pursuit of more. I can tell you right now that the number one agent in one of the, at the time was the largest franchise in the world. That guy made money off of 2 neighborhoods that have had 5,000 people, right? 5,000 homeowners lived in a neighborhood, and he absolutely dominated. So I just want to point out that if that's your desire and that's your goal, then, there's other things that you can leverage, and you can provide more value to the people that are looking specifically there. If you're a big thinker like me and Woods, and you want, and you have no problems, and you're looking at growing a business, and you love the challenge of creating that referral network and getting agreements with agents. Look at Dave Ramsey's proven it. He can go on radio, send out a referral, but he's going to send it to 3 people. Why? Because by the act of sending it to 3 people, he knows one of those 3 people are going to follow up with it. And therefore, he can send those referrals based upon the actual data, right? So if you're getting into that referral business, you just want to, again, all I'm saying is know what you want it to look like 3 to 5 years from now, so that you don't get to the top of the ladder and learn it's against the wrong wall.
What do you think about, when you brand the channel around your personal brand, where the channel is your name, and, and so you're going with that strategy versus kind of branding to a marketplace?
To be honest with you, I think that you can brand yourself on your channel regardless of your channel name. So right. I know people right now that have channel names that are based upon large cities, and they are perceived to be the host, right? And so, it's no different than ESPN. It's no different than your local radio station DJ. It's no different than even some of your most popular podcasts. I mean, you have some podcasts that are named after the recipient, but that recipient, you got to understand, in most cases, was already had a personal brand built. And so by changing their personal brand, it would make it harder for their audience to find them. But I think that let's take Joe Rogan, right? Joe Rogan has a podcast. But before he had a podcast, I mean, he was an announcer for the UFC, right? And people went to watch the UFC, but a lot of people learned about Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan had a stand-up comedy show, and he had other businesses that had already built his personal brand. And I think, if you go to ESPN and you look at, ESPN has a kind of a stable, if you will, of people that produce content that interact with, their brand. And I think that those people have a lot of the times been ex-NFL players, ex-basketball players, again, had their own personal brand. Somebody doing something from scratch. Who's the number one person on YouTube, Woods? Number one.
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast, right? Ninja Kid, Dude Perfect, right?
Right.
I think that, if you look at Cody Jones on Dude Perfect, I think that there's people out there that have built personal brands by branding a channel. And I do think that there's pros and cons of building that channel. Another one is Think Media. Think Media has a lot of different contributors to their channel. That was something that we looked at years ago and have actually considered that model. And I think in the real estate space, that's something that you can do. When I did CollinCounty.tv, 10 years ago, everybody on my team, even including my lender, helped create some of the content that went on that channel. And so again, I think that, if it were me, I would go with my market area, and I would try to own the keyword. I would go off of the keyword. And if my name was searched more than the keyword, then I would go with my name. So if I'm Emmett Smith and it's searched more than, Frisco, Texas, then I'm going with Emmett Smith. And if Frisco, Texas is searched more than Michael Reese, then I'm gonna try to use Frisco, Texas. If Dallas, Texas is used more than Frisco, Texas, then I'm gonna go with Dallas, Texas, because simply that's just implying that there's more traffic out there.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, YouTube's the number 2 search engine in the world, so definitely taking advantage of that search traffic is one of the big goals, right?
Yeah. And so, let's talk about once you've picked out your brand, hopefully that gives you a lot to consider. I think you're probably as clear as mud. I think, the takeaway here is know what your game plan is and find out the top searched words. If there's, I think that you can build your personal brand by leveraging the broader search term. And if that's Frisco real estate, or if that's Dallas real estate, or if that's Puerto Rico real estate, or Orlando real estate, or living in Orlando, or Frisco inside out, or Orlando inside out, whatever it is, find out what that is and go from there. So let's transition to, okay, you determined your channel. Where do I start, right? Like what kind of videos should I be making? And let's dive into that. And what I would like to do is with every video type, because I know we have a handful, we probably have, I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 to 10 different types of videos. Let's start with the easiest type, right?
Yeah.
The easiest type of videos, and then we'll go into some of the more difficult. I'll start with one. The easiest type of video is going to be live video. And, live video is easy because live video does not require you to edit, right? When it's perceived as being live, and it's live. Now, you might say, well, how do I go live? Well, the thing is that you can go live on other platforms, especially like a Facebook business page. Now, one of the things you got to always consider is how you're going to shoot the video, right? Are you going to shoot it or what you're going to shoot it on and what it looks like? That's not really a difficult thing, but think about, if you're shooting from an iPhone, are you going to shoot the video this way or this way, right? So I know that on Facebook, if you go live on a business page, you can download the video. And so, you can go live directly on YouTube, or you can go live directly on another platform, download that video, and then post it as a live video. But that's going to be one of the things that is going to be easiest because live videos don't have to be edited because they're perceived as live. Now, the con to that is they're not edited and they are live. And so, you have to really be comfortable in an improv situation. And to do that, you really have to know the topic and be able to understand your discussion points around the topic. I think that's easy because all you got to do is imagine that a client asked you a question, right? And imagine that you're answering that question. The beautiful thing about YouTube is we're all answering clients' questions already. They might ask you a question and you might not always know the exact answer, like, hey, what's the difference between this school versus that school? But there's things like, hey, how do I determine my the taxes that I'm going to pay on, my real estate transaction? How do I debate my, tax appraisal? Things like that. You might already know the answer to. You might have already discussed them. So again, laying out those topics and organizing the questions that your clients have over time helps you build that library of things that you can discuss in a conversational way that really leads them. It lends itself to being good content in a live environment.
Yeah, I like that. I definitely think that's a good, easy way to get started. I think another good, easy video to start with is just doing property tours. The idea is to take things that you're already doing in your business and just take the little extra time to be able to capture and document with video and share that in a way that's going to add value to other people. So for example, if you're going to show property to clients, if you get permission from the listing agents on when you're going out to show properties to record a video and post it to your YouTube channel, then you can leverage that same time that you're, taking to go show property to clients to actually capture a valuable asset and shoot a actual tour of a property. People like to look at homes. They like to tour properties. They like to tour neighborhoods. They like to get that inside look. That's why people watch HGTV. So if you get permission up front, and then you go to, let's say you're going to show a client 3 properties in a day, and you get permission. Let's say that you get permission from 2 of those. One of the things that you can say to your clients is you can let them know, hey, we're going to go tour properties today. what I'm going to do as a service to you is I'm going to do a video walkthrough, and I'm going to send those to you after we're finished for the day, so you can kind of keep everything straight in your mind and be able to compare things afterwards. And so then you're just taking that time to capture that asset.
Can I chime in there? The one thing I think that's important, Woods, is to know is that if they came from your YouTube channel, you don't even have to tee it up that way because they already know, right? Like once you're doing YouTube and you're getting clients from YouTube, they already know that you're on YouTube, right? And so they're already accustomed to you filming, and all you have to do is get their permission to film. And obviously, the harder thing is going to be, just for security reasons, a lot of people won't let you video their house. But if you have a listing, a lot of the times you can communicate that. Again, if you got the listing from YouTube, if you're having a bottleneck there of getting properties to video, a friend of mine that actually shared with me this week that his number one source of video viewings actually comes from people who are doing neighborhoods. And that was something that I told him that I would do, coming at it from wanting to take over a neighborhood. So I just came from, hey, listen, when you go into a neighborhood, they have different amenities. And, especially living in Dallas, they have, this, Woods, they have neighborhoods that have lagoons and private water slides. And so going outside of the homes and being able to give people, because really what you're doing is you're giving people the ability, right now, so many people can look for selection. And that means they can go look at what homes are available, between 200, 300, 400 to 500. And they can look at selection. They can get into the property. They can see a 3D tour. But it's a little bit more difficult to put that all together. And I mean, someone can click on Google and look at the street view. But when you have somebody who's actually commentating on, okay, here's the old downtown, right? And this is one of the best places for this. It's in location to this from this neighborhood. I'm going to take you through that. When you're helping put people, again, when people are being able to put that kind of visual, living in the neighborhood, I know Woods here. When we first came here, right? You were better with directions. But it was it was easy to get lost. Knowing how easy it is to navigate my neighborhood now, it's one big circle, right?
You're right.
But when we first came to visit and we flew to Puerto Rico and we stayed up at the Ritz and we got on our bicycles and we're like, even knowing it's just one big circle back then, it was just so easy to get disoriented.
Yep.
And I think that's what people who are trying to drill down, they're taking that from you. And so as people take that information from you as, hey, listen, this is in proximity. Here's where the schools are. Here's the average price on this street. What you're basically doing is you're taking that content that they're able to see online on every major search engine, which is homes, and you're taking that content and you're going up a level. It's almost like if you think from a satellite view, someone's saying, okay, I'm moving to Texas, I'm moving to Frisco. Tell me more about these neighborhoods, right? Okay, now let me see homes in that neighborhood. And I think a cool thing to do would be is if you do the neighborhood, then you can start being very specific on linking to other homes in that neighborhood based on a price point. And now you're going to be hyper-focused around your keywords because now you have not only the address, you have the neighborhood content, and obviously you can reference things in proximity to the city. Again, that might remove the bottleneck. I just know I know agents who didn't do open houses because they said they had no houses to hold open. That, Woods, because we wrote.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We wrote the book on that. In fact, if you want to see our open house book that helped agents receive literally up to 54 visitors, this was probably one of the best ways if you want to work with higher end buyers and higher end listings. Wrote an entire book. I think it's 34 pages. It's around 30 pages long, but it's step by step, everything you need to do, all the way to what apps. Anyway, we'll put a link in the description below so you can download a free copy of our open house funnel book.
Yeah, I love it. And that definitely does remove a bottleneck, and it adds a lot of value.
And if you were going to do what you said, Woods, I would position it to the agent as marketing for the listing. I mean, what agent, if you're going to have that conversation with the agent, again, it's just positioning.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I would like to help market your property on my living in Dallas. I have a lot of non-local area movers that search. We get X amount of viewings. We do featured properties and we want to feature your property. If you can give them the handles to the luggage on how to then go back and articulate that to the people, when you're doing an open house, you can get permission to video the house so that you can promote it for the open house. And again, obviously, I think those are little things that might be bottlenecks in people who, I just know when people do open house, they struggle with finding the house.
Yeah.
You'll never struggle with finding the neighborhood. And so if that makes it easier, then start there. If you already have a list of homes and you already have people in your community that are going to be able to, give you permission to do that, then you can always jump right in.
Yeah, another good way to remove that bottleneck, and a lot of our people have had a lot of success with reaching out to builders, and going directly to the sales agents. Builders want, depending on the environment, a lot of them are usually pretty open to letting you do video tours and marketing, their model homes and things like that. So that's another little way to get access to some of those properties and get content. But I love the neighborhood. So I think one of the other types of, videos that's a good way to do this, even if you don't go out physically to the neighborhood, go drive through the streets and film all that, which I think is definitely a great idea. But you can actually record videos. This is another video type from the comfort of your own office, and literally use a Google Map tour. And this is going to be a little more relevant to talking about a city and kind of walking people through the different amenities of the city, and literally just using some screen capture software. There's lots of different types of software that you can use to record your screen and literally pull up a Google map and walk people through the different areas in your city. So you can use, so we've used a screen capture called Camtasia. I think it's like $97. There's a tool called Loom. I think they have free accounts and they have paid accounts. You can even just open up Zoom and record your screen and literally produce an asset that's really valuable to people. I remember when we first had some agents start implementing the strategy, and I was actually shocked at how much positive feedback this type of video gives people, because again, you're just zooming out on a Google map, kind of walking people around through the city, familiarizing them with some of the different amenities that are in the city, and people find that really valuable.
So the Google Map tour, and I'm going to say that another thing that you can do, Woods, as far as content's concerned, is I think the biggest threat you have is consistency. What I've seen, the mistake that people's made is if you do this, it's kind of like branding. In branding, if you have a billboard, that's one thing. But if you have a wrapped Hummer in a billboard, that's another thing. If you have a listing in my neighborhood that I drive by, see your sign, then I see your billboard that resembles from a brand standard your sign. So I make the connection, and then I see you somewhere else. It's that having those three different places. So this type of video, I think, works better in a collaboration of, other videos, but it helps you with the consistency. So let's say you're doing neighborhoods, but you're wanting to layer something on top of that, a different video type on top of that for your channel. These are where you're going to call different playlists. A market update is really good. Market update, going over the pending ratios. Again, market updates can be done at different levels. They can be, it's good nurture content. And I want to point that out. All of this content that we're talking about is going to be more relevant to your homeowners. So like if I do a market update, it's going to have relevancy to both a local area mover and an out of town buyer, because they're going to want to know what's going on in the market. And if you do it right, if you understand different principles and you can, a market update can be scripted a little bit more. There's great apps out there. There's an app for the iPhone that is unbelievable that allows you to literally lay over a teleprompter. It has and the app is, I think, called the teleprompter app. I'll show you what a picture of it looks like, but it literally lays it over and moves it right in front of the camera. And, you can talk about what's going on, how many new active listings, how many sold, how many pending, all of that information. You can talk about statewide. You can talk about the national market, the statewide market, or the local market, right? So you can talk about specifically the local market. You can subscribe to Keeping Current Matters, which is KCM. A great wealth of knowledge. The great thing about it is they provide you with content on the national market that, you can put a little script together, read through the thing and put that out either every month on the national or, whatever you see fit. But it's going to give you, I would probably do my market update every month. and I would be consistent. I think when you take that market update, now I've seen people who've done just the market update and that's all I see. And to me, that comes across as the recipe card. It's just like, I mean, it doesn't pull me in, right? I think if you pull somebody in and they see you, actually out living in the market and then they see the market update, I think it's way more of an enhancement. That's just my personal feel when looking at it from a consumer standpoint. If I see a person in where I live going over, and they're the ones that gave me, like, for instance, we had a huge neighborhood Christmas party, right? If they would have shot information about the neighborhood Christmas party, we had a parade, and even in my city, in the city that I used to live in, they did something for Thanksgiving every year called the Turkey Trot, right? So when you combine those other things that are with the market update, and the market update, the other thing I like about it is you can have it be sponsored, right? So one thing that you're going to do is, you're going to be looking for sponsorships, and I think the market update can be sponsored with a lender where they can come in and, they can provide, the 1 minute mortgage snapshot, what's going on with rates, right, for the month. And so just little stuff like that. When you layer that stuff in, think about it. You go to watch different channels and on TV, real TV, live TV, where we all used to watch, and they would have, the news, then they would have entertainment, right? There was different types, and entertainers definitely get paid more than educators. That's why I think that this is more of an educational type content. It's going to increase your authority and your expertise. But as a standalone, I think you want you want to humanize yourself and people and your personality to come out. I think you could probably do it in both. But I think combined with the, other things, it's way more powerful.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the interesting things about just shooting these videos and creating these are all assets that live together, and they all work together. Like, I really like what you said about the market update just not being that's your only video strategy and it just stands alone and it lives on some, random website or blog, but it's actually embedded into your YouTube channel. It becomes a playlist on your YouTube channel. And then from your YouTube channel, when people get engaged with that content, maybe they watch your market update, they can see some of your other content. They can see some of your tours, your neighborhood information.
You can email it.
Yeah. You can hand it to, what's the most common question that you get when when you tell somebody that you're a real estate agent? How's the market? Well, you can not only tell them, but then you can give them some walkaway value to share. You can actually text them your market update video. Now they can watch that video. They might get into some of your other content. They might share it with somebody else.
Well, it lends itself to a good call to action too, Woods, because like in any video, you want to have a call to action. You can in every video say, if you want to know what's going on in the market, you want to keep updated. The market's obviously moving fast. Make sure you subscribe to get live market updates, right? So it's a great layered into call to action. You can put that in your description. You can have a website dedicated to where they, like you said, it's embedded, and you can email it. You can have people go to your website and subscribe to your market update. And again, like we said, it becomes that powerful nurture content.
Now, one of the things I think, since we're talking about video, and I think we've talked a lot about different types of videos, and I would say testimonials would be the next type. I think that's one thing that's an essential part of your arsenal that just needs to live in your ecosystem of content that you're putting out. You want to have proof that that you're out there, you're helping people, you're doing what you say that you can do. If you have a value proposition that you put into the marketplace, then you want to have testimonials of other people telling their story about how you were able to help them achieve what you're promising in all of your other marketing.
I love that, man. I think testimonials is definitely the best one. I will say that from my experience, they're my most low views. I think just me personally, just me personally, but guess what? They are the ones that tip people over. So remember, you might have 1,000 views and only get X amount of clients, but those people who don't do business with you, it's because they don't believe you. And I think Woods brings up a good point is, if you understand the three dynamics of the funnel, this is going to be the type of content where that person is, maybe you're one of two. And I think the other point is you can never have too many. I love the testimonial videos. I think I can't say enough about them.
Well, I would just say about the testimonial videos, like you said, they're not going to probably be the more organic type of view videos that are going to go out there and be working for you to pull more people into your channel and and generate leads. They're going to be more of a conversion mechanism for people that you're already working with. I mean, imagine when you have a playlist in YouTube of testimonials, and that's part of your pre-listing package. That's part of your content that you're sending to people before you have an appointment. It's strategic, or it can even be used after the fact, after you've signed somebody up or you've gotten somebody on the hook. It helps with conversion. So being able to email people a playlist and be able to do it, I think what we found and what we've discovered is that when we send people to YouTube to consume those, not only, especially if you're producing all the other types of content, again, they're going to watch those video testimonials. They're going to get caught up in your other content, and it's going to make it a no-brainer for them to want to choose to do business with you because they can spend so much time with you. They're seeing your proof, and it really just kind of threads the needle for the whole thing.
So, and I'm just going to give a little pro here because I just partnered with the girl, and she did 61 transactions. 34 of them came from Google. And I just want you guys to know they came all because in her city, she shows up #1, no paid ads, and all of them are from Google reviews. The good thing about doing testimonials is you can transcribe those, turn them into reviews, and get your clients permission. If you do a video with somebody, it's very easy and natural. And you just ask them, hey, do you mind if I transcribe this and turn this into a review? And now you have the 2-for-1.
That's gangster. That's gangster.
It's so funny. My son Cruz said, "Mom," my son Cruz said, "Mom, last night, can I use the shampoo that's 2-in-1?" Because they hate doing shampoo then conditioner. They just want to get in and get out, right? And they just found out that there's a 2-in-1 shampoo, and they are blown away that there's 2-for-1. But that's common sense for a kid, right? Like, who doesn't want to get 2-for-1? I mean, it cuts your bath time down. And the point is with a testimonial, you get like 5-for-1, right? You can, like Wood said, you can put it in an email indoctrination sequence. You can put a link to it in your email signature. You can transcribe them and put them on as Google reviews. If you're a Zillow agent, you can put them on your Zillow review, any review. We built reviews out. I mean, if you're not leveraging Google, this is one of the things that we're going to be talking about. And this is why you should subscribe. Is specifically how we've automated with Attract ROI the review process, and it's fabulous. If you want to get your business ranked, if you want to be on page 1 of Google, there's no better way than leveraging this 2-for-1 strategy that we're talking about. So that's good. My next content type, Woods, is going to be interviews. Specifically, I want to make a duality, kind of a dual situation. You can do interviews just for your YouTube, or you can make it a podcast. Regardless, interviews are going to give you a calling card to get in front of people and build relationships with people. There's nothing wrong with having a relationship with the top 100 most influential people in your market. You want to build your personal brand? You want to network yourself into doubling your average transaction price? Then this is a contact sport. You have to be in that place where the entrepreneurs in the city, the people who are doing business with the people who want to paint their house, who want to build a pool, who do mortgages, or maybe provide inflatable fun toys for cool kid birthday parties, whatever that is. All of those are interviews. And for us, there's also a lot of partners that I'm working with, Woods. They're expanding into other markets. And, so that podcast type content gives you a dual approach. One is it's a lot easier to be like me and you are here now, going back and forth. If I was just sitting here looking at the camera, going through, 10 different video types, it wouldn't be as engaging. And I don't think it's as valuable because we both have different perspectives. Although we're really aligned, we've written a book together, so we believe a lot of the same things. Unlike when I talked to this girl, who obviously, we have an entire system for Google reviews. I just had never had somebody who made it their goal. It was her goal to have the most reviews than anyone in her market. What an amazing goal. But that one thing, added business to her bottom line. And so again, interviews are a great thing, and they give your audience different perspective and different people to tune into. I know that in my city, when we were the fastest growing city in the United States, I interviewed the mayor for CollinCounty.tv. I went to a Chambers of Commerce event. It was they had a little thing where you could bid on stuff, and one of the bids was no one was bidding on it, and it was to have lunch with the mayor, and it said have lunch with the mayor, and so I went ahead and bid on it, and I just provided. I said, hey, listen, I paid for the lunch. I hope y'all do good with the donation, but I would like to interview him. And they had no problem with it. Obviously, it was good for good cause, and I went in there. We videoed the whole thing, and it was a great asset. And so those are the types of things that you can do when you do interview style content for your channel. It's very easy to come up with. It's very easy to scale. It's easy to say what are the we got 3 market updates. We're going to do 3. We're going to do 12 interviews. Boom. Now we have a video dropping every single week in an interview with a market update. Boom. You're starting to get some dynamics to your channel. And that just is another thing that I think is really easy for a lot of people. And again, I don't even think that you have to interview, you can start with the list of people at the Chamber of Commerce, but you can interview anybody that adds value to your community. You can interview people, you can interview school principals. Again, anything around those sorts of things.
You can just leverage the top 100 principle, right? Like, is just make a list of the top 100 people that you would like to have a relationship with, that that are influential in your marketplace, that that you could add value to, that could add value to your business, and just start from there and start knocking out the list. I really love that, because it's definitely true. It is definitely a calling card. There might be people that might be reluctant to just meet with you as the realtor versus you as the host of this podcast or the host of this show on your channel. So I really love that. So, I think that is there any more content types that you can think of?
I have 2 more, but I know we're running long. If you want me, I'll just throw them out here. I think.
Yeah, let's rapid fire go through them. Let's hit them.
Yeah. I think the last 2 that I have is it's going to be vlog style content. I think that as you start to grow your business and you're out there just in the day of a life of a realtor. A day in the life of a realtor has amazing search results. And this is coming a person, and I cannot make this up, Woods. I got a call on Sunday morning about 8 a.m. And I took the phone call, and the person said, do you have a free second? I said, I'm actually busy right now, but if it's going to be quick. And they said, well, I can call you back. It's just based upon some research I just did. And I said, oh, yeah, tell me, what are you talking about? And they said, I just did keyword research. Do you know how much search is out there for the day in the life of a realtor? And so, again, I don't know if that's for people wanting to get into real estate, but I do know that, a lot of you are going to want to grow your teams, and you're going to want to be that kind of go-to place of where people, as you start to scale and get leverage, I do think that, putting some of those stories, I know that a buddy of mine used to do a very polarizing radio show where it was more along the mistakes a real estate agent makes. I know that there's an Instagram, a famous Instagram out there that's has a kind of a comedian type spin on being in real estate. And I know that our friend in Australia who produces amazing videos, who's known all through Australia, has that. Is it, what do you say? If you're saying comedy, is it like a comedic, like a what kind of feel? Comedic feel. Yes.
They're definitely comedy. He's got them crushed.
And so anytime that, if you can layer those in, I know another agent that did like a song. I got another agent that created a custom song for his lake, right? He could easily do a music video, which would be like that anchor video out there. You don't have to do a lot of them, but let's just call them, kind of like, we live here. I live here in, Dorado Beach, and a couple of my neighbors are real famous YouTubers, Jake Paul and Logan Paul. They've both done music videos. Right. And I've seen some agents who've done music videos. I've seen teams that have done music videos. I'm not saying that I think that those have the viral aspect to really get your channel out there, something that you can put on there. And then the last thing I have just to get us to 10, Woods, and it's not because I'm trying to get us to 10, but that's just what I came up with, is shorts. You know, if you don't know what shorts are really short videos. They're easy. They're done from your phone. They're not overdone. They can be scripted. An example of a short could be the top 10 vegan places to eat in Frisco, the top 10 Chinese places, the top 10 things to do this summer with your kids. They're really short. They're rapid fire, and they're not going to get a tremendous amount of views. You might, if you get creative with them, I think you could definitely get some views, but they can be repurposed. They can be hashtagged. So if you're consistent with those hashtags in your marketplace and you're leveraging some of those other platforms, because of their shortness in nature, they lend themselves to play really friendly, repurposed other places. And it's just a way to consistently knock out content. And I think it's a nice little touch to the algorithm because, you're just posting it somewhere where you can be consistent, and it's really easy to think of, the top 10 places to order pizza, and so I would say shorts would be the number 10 on the list.
I like that, man. I think we rounded that out. I like the shorts too. It's really quick value. Those top 10 lists, those top 7 lists. I mean, it's really quick value. And at the end of the day, all this stuff, guys, I mean, all the things that we've talked about today, it's just really a way for you to add more value to the marketplace. And money is just a scorecard for value creation. And so when you're thinking about, your business, it's not just like, this is not just tactical. This is literally like coming from a standpoint like, man, how can I add more value than every other agent out there? How can I be the number one source that people come to gain knowledge, to gain entertainment, to gain, education, to receive value about real estate in my market? And that's when you end up winning, is the person that adds the most value generally is going to be the one that comes out on top.
I'm gonna end it with this. First of all, thanks guys for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. We put out new content like this every single week, so turn on notifications. As a recap, you can do live video, you can do neighborhood video, you can do builders, you can do homes, you can do Google Map tours, you can do market updates, testimonial videos, interviews. Shorts are that comedic type entertainment. I like those. There's a book out there. The best thing is the best time to start on YouTube, I think, was yesterday. Build a better bond with people. I'll keep it at that. It has a different way of articulating that, but I think that's the outcome that I'm wanting to communicate, is that if you can get some entertainment in there, a little comedy type videos, not something that you do every week, maybe not every month, maybe not every quarter, maybe a couple times a year. It's another video type. So with that, you have the video types. Remember, all you need is a mobile device. Today, you can sit with these new Apple 13 Max Pros, you can shoot in cinematic quality. And if you don't have one, you can use your current phone and go get an app that'll allow you to do so. So there's no excuse for equipment. There's no excuse on not knowing where to start. This video gives you an idea. It's just getting started. And remember, change happens in an instant. If you want to change your life, you got to change something you do every day. And so it's not about where you are. It's about where you're trying to go and who you have to become in order to get there. I hope you look into getting better at video, leveraging that with your business, and building a business that attracts customers to you for who you are, who are predisposed to do business with you for who you are, not what you do. Because everybody knows a realtor. We want them to want to do business with you. Thanks, guys.